Nikaya 3 refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana refuge. In my heart I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened. May their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra on page 4. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Chariyutra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not sane, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, no sound, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, hath no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by Prajnaparamita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by Prajnaparamita, attaining Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the Prajnaparamita mantra, set forth this mantra, and proclaim Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Paraso, Gate, Bodhisattva, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Paraso, Gate, Bodhisattva, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Paraso, Gate, Bodhisattva. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. The wind blows, waves fall on the shore, and Guanyin finds us in the dark and broken roads. We give thanks to all the ancestors of meditation in the still halls, the unknown women and men, centuries of enlightened women and men, for clouds and winds and falling leaves. Let wisdom go to every corner of the house. Let people have joy in each other's joy. On this day, we remember our ancestor in the lineage, Hoan Jiu Kennet. We also dedicate the merits of this day to Jack, Aiden, Holly, Lori, Hazel, Fatima and her family, Sister Suzette, Soke, Roger, the Ardner family, and George. May they have peace and healing. And to Ordy and Debbie at the time of their death, and to those whose names we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way Let's prepare for zazen. Dharma school teachers and children, you can go back to the ancestor hall. We'll now recite the Sangha Covenant on page 8 of your liturgy book. We, the Daishin Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for today's talk. Please sit so you can face the teacher and make eye contact and sit comfortably. And we'll also be reciting the Lankavatara Sutra on page 8.
It's a delight to see you here and to be in your presence. A special welcome to those who are visiting for the first time. Before I get into the specifics of the talk, which I'm very excited about, I'd like to bring attention to the memorial placard you may have noticed here was brought up in the processional. And this is the first time we've pulled this off successfully. We've talked about it for a decade or something, but here we are. We actually have memorial plaques that would be recognizable to anyone who's participated in the tradition in any of its cultures or forms. If you have not yet had a chance to go and see the Buddha Ancestor Hall, we call it, it's a room in the back, but all the way down and to the left, it's really cool. The room is painted red. This represents the womb of the Dharma, the heart of the Dharma. And you'll see on the wall there's all these plaques that have images of people important, if not direct, members of our lineage. And so here we have Rinsen Roshii. She is my transmitting teacher's transmitting teacher in the Soto inheritance of Denkai and Denbo, the Zen teaching and practice of Master Dogen. And she's a very important figure. She's the first European descent woman to receive acknowledgement as a Zen master, ever, that we know of in recorded history. And so her Dharma and practice is very much alive in this space and others. We have a peer, sort of a heartfelt connection, cousin Sangha in, for example, Dharma Rain in Portland, which is also doing beautifully, and wherein the Dharma of Jiyu Kennet has passed through Jiyu Kennet continues to flourish. So you'll see as time goes on, whenever one of our lineage ancestors' Memorial Day comes up, we'll be bringing that plaque up and mentioning them. And it's important that we keep the ancestors, let them know that we know they were there and they helped, and encourage them and acknowledge their presence, and find nutrition in this. Also in time, as Sangha members who've gone through the rites of the Buddhist funeral pass on and die and move through that gateless gate, their memorial plaques will be added, and so too will they be acknowledged. So, beautiful. Now, to our task at hand. We continue with our investigations into the Lankavatara. Buckle up. This chapter is going to be pretty serious. Let me just read you the first chunk, and we'll see how this lands, just as an opener here. The sutra, again, means, sutra is a teaching of the Buddha. The Lankavatara is a location, a magical location where this discourse is constantly unfolding, and this is a recording of it. Mahamati, the querent, said to the Blessed One, to the Buddha, "You have spoken of an astral body." Ooh, an astral body. Who's ever heard anything about the astral planes or anything like that? Okay, it's like, oh God, I'm out of here now. Well, chill, just chill. Wait, we'll see. I'll promise. Don't eject just yet. Remember now, the English translator here, the wonderful Dwight Goddard, did this work in 1939. Like, that's a long time ago, and the words that he often chose might not be the ones a translator today would. Maybe they would, but you have to read it clearly. Anyway, then Mahamati said to the Blessed One, "You have spoken of an astral body, and I want me one." No. Okay, let's get through it, Rinsen. You have spoken of an astral body. Let me tell you a story now. No, okay. You have spoken of a mind-vision body. A mind-vision body. Ooh, that sounds magic-y. Cool. Manomaya kaya. Manomaya kaya. This is the actual term of it. This actually means will body, intent body. What the heck is he talking about here? Blessed One, you've spoken of an astral body, a mind vision body, the will body, which bodhisattvas are able to assume as being one of the fruits of the realization of noble wisdom. Pray, tell us, Buddha, what is meant by these bodies, this transcendental body? Interested? I kind of am. I'm also like, what's kind of going on here? The Buddha replied, there are three kinds of such transcendental bodies. First, There is the one which the bodhisattva attains the enjoyment of the samadhis and the samapadis. Second, there is the one which is assumed by the Tathagatas according to the class of beings to be sustained, and which achieves and perfects spontaneously with no attachment and with no effort. Third, there is the body in which the Tathagatas receive their intuition of the Dharmakaya. Now, the sutra here goes on to elucidate these three transcendental bodies, but I wish to pause because without understanding something about what the heck is being talked about, the rest is just going to be no fun, okay, even though it's intriguing. Consider this. What is meant here by a body? What is meant, there are terms that you'll see. Astral body, these are all from this chunk of the sutra, by the way, more or less. Astral body, transcendental personality, the mind, vision body, the Manomayakaya, the will body, the transcendental bodies, Dharma eye body, Buddha, Dharma eye of the mind ground, and the transformation body. All pointing to exactly the same thing, stumbling around in English. But there's something being pointed to here. What could it be? Well, perhaps an easier one to relate to. Can you imagine that you have inside you an anger body? Let's just think about that for a second. The body of anger within. Can you relate to that, perhaps? What if the anger body was actually, as a metaphor, as an imaginable way of thinking and working with this, what if the anger body, like at certain times, just sort of like, haha, it's mine. The anger body rose up and took the controls of the meat sack and began to anger body all over the place. Have you ever been so pissed off you felt like literally something else took control of the wheel of the car, right? As a metaphor, as an analogy, as a way of thinking this through, your anger body showed up, bro. Your anger body, yeah. And guess what the anger body wants? Food. What does the anger body consume? Anger. So what does the anger body want? The anger body wants a friend, an anger body partner that they can spar with. Because all the sparks that go off is food to that anger body. The anger body doesn't actually want to resolve anger, it wants to express anger. Can you relate to that? Right? What about the greed body? The greed body, the body that just wants. It doesn't even care what the wanting is for, it just wants to want. Huh? Call it maybe the addiction body. Make it easy to relate to, perhaps, right? When that addiction body goes, my precious, we wants it, right? And all the greed body, the addiction body, the lust body, the whatever, pick your adjective, all that body wants is what? Food. And what does it want? It wants wanting. Do not be fooled. The anger body doesn't want to end anger. It just wants more anger, thank you. It is anger in search of an excuse to express. Any excuse will do handsomely. Worthy or not, nothing to do with it. Not from the anger body's perspective. It just wants anger to express. The greed body simply wants to want. It thinks it wants the object, but it does not. Actually, it gets the object and then wants something else, or wants it more, or wants it differently. There's no ending to it. Why? Because it isn't actually after the thing it offers itself to be about. It just wants to express and embody greed, or desire, or addiction. Does it make sense? Well, we've got three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. Ignorance body. The apathy body. The I don't care body. The body that just wants to not play anymore. Almost, or perhaps, the will to self-annihilation. Now, you can imagine in a given day or week or a month or year or season or whatever that these different bodies, so-called, literally the body doesn't change. It's still 5 fingers and toes and a nose and a mouth, all the same awesome beard. But the body of anger, when it's running the show, is different from the body of desire that's running the show, or the body of not giving a shit that's running the show. Can you relate? Okay. Now here's an interesting question. Can you, through practice, transform, say, the anger body into the kindness body? Can you transform and change that addiction body into a generosity body? I cite this old case from the record of Master Mazu. This addresses it handsomely. The great master asked, "Why are you polishing that brick?" Now, you need a little setup for this. Once upon a time, in a galaxy very much close to here, in a time not really so long ago, there was 2 monks, okay? The elder Nangaku and the younger Baso, both destined to become great teachers of the lineage. They were both studying under a great master at the time, and the younger simply could not break through, just stuck. I'm sorry, the elder was stuck, the elder of the two. This is Baso, very, very stuck. And so the teacher said, why don't you take your elder Dharma sibling, go on a pilgrimage, all right? I want you to go visit this other shop down here, and along the way, see if you can goose him a little bit, get it to work, help him. You know what I mean? So, okay, let's go. So the monks go off on a pilgrimage. During the pilgrimage, to tell the tale, they, let us say, find a cave, and they're camping out for the night, right? They got shelter, and so they make a little fire, and they're kind of biding time until dawn where they can safely take up the pilgrimage again. And this elder, who is so stuck and just can't break through to awakening, begins to sit in zazen. The younger sees an opportunity. While the elder is sitting there piously, perhaps earnestly, sitting in meditation long into the night, the younger grabs a rock and starts polishing it. Why are you polishing that rock? That's the setup. Okay, that's what's happening. Sometimes it's translated as tile or brick. I'm going to go with stone because it's cool. Why are you polishing that stone? Well, because I want to make a mirror, says the younger to the elder. How can you make a mirror by polishing a rock? Says the elder. Well, if I can't make a mirror by polishing a rock, how can you become Buddha by sitting in meditation? There's a little bit of a part of the wind-up I left out. Why are you sitting in zazen like that? I want to become a Buddha. Oh, I see. You want to become a Buddha, do you? thus the rock. Why are you polishing that rock? Because I want to make a mirror. How can you make a mirror by polishing a rock? Exactly. If I can't make a mirror by polishing a rock, how do you think you're going to become a Buddha by sitting in Zen meditation? Can you polish a rock into a mirror? No. Well, then what do? And here, an opening starts to happen. Instead of knowing what he has to do, he's like, well, what do I do? Like, this little window of not knowing is an essential ingredient into awakening. If you think awakening is about you knowing it, you're never going to get it. It's not how it works. In this moment, with his goal rent asunder and thrown away, well, what do I do then? Thank goodness it's about time. Wen Rang, the younger, who's awakened at this point, who's trying to help the elder out who's stuck, said, listen, when an ox carriage stops moving, do you encourage the carriage or do you encourage the ox with the stick? Which one are you going to hit? Not that I'm into hitting animals or anything, but if the horse-drawn carriage stops, do you smack the carriage or do you smack the horse? That's what he's asking. Ma Zu had no way to respond. Wen Rang continued, are you practicing to sit in meditation or are you practicing to sit like a Buddha? If you try to sit like a Buddha, you're just killing the Buddha. If you attach to the form, you'll never realize the truth. Upon hearing this, it was as though the master had tasted ghee for the first time. Ghee is a purified butter, good stuff. So, can you transform a rock into a mirror? Not really, no. Can you transform that anger body into the gentle, kind body? No. That's not how this works. And this is very important to get clear about, because if you think that you're a solid, fixed you who feels this way and now feels that way, you are forever in this battle, which is a falsehood. Rather realize the anger body is just always going to be pissed off. It has one job to do, and it's going to do it. The lust body is always like that. The anger body is always like this. The addiction body, the apathy body, they kind of stay that way. No matter how far along you go, no matter how evolved and developed you become, the anger body is always an option, let us say. You don't transform it, but instead what happens is you bring training and nurturance to other aspects, other bodies, let us say, and you make them strong, and you give them life, and you give them nurturance, and then they become the default setting. It's very much like when we look up at the night sky, you might see what's obviously a star, but then the James Webb looks at it and it's like, no, dude, it's not a star. It's like a whole galaxy. And the more you zoom in, the more multiplicities of awesome are there. No one of those is the galaxy. Simply this constellation of expression is what we provisionally call that galaxy. And so too with your own self and your own experience. So instead of anger body and greed body and delusion body, here the sutra says there are three bodies. The one first, there is one in which the bodhisattva attains the enjoyment of the samadhis and samapadis. I'm going to just call that the samadhi body. Yeah, the samadhi body. Let's go with it. Second, there's the one assumed by the Tathagatas according to the class of beings to be sustained, which achieves and perfects spontaneously with no attachment and no effort. The hell is that? It's really simple. It's the upaya body. It's the skillful means body. This business about the Buddha sustaining, the bodhisattvas sustaining, this is showing up in a way that's helpful, being helpful. This is upaya, this is skillful means. This is the upaya body, the skillful means body. Third, there is one in which the Tathagatas receive their intuition of the Dharmakaya. That's your Dharma eye body. That's your Dharma eye body. Now, it's not a body in the sense of like it's going to open the door and walk around or something, unless you choose to express it that way, which you can do. So these bodies. Now, interestingly, I have to say before we go on here that the nature of the anger body and the nature of the, let's say, samadhi body is the same exact nature. In the same way that every wave on the ocean is expressing exactly the same ocean. They're different waves, but it's the same ocean, same water. The nature of even the addiction body, the greed body, the hate body, all of it's the same nature. Some expressions just hurt. Some expressions help. You have all of them within you. Some of them have been getting a little bit more airtime than you might like, though. Some of them we might like to turn the dial up a little bit. Does it make sense? Okay. It's very tricky when you read these things because it's, you know, we have a bunch of unexamined assumptions and things that get in the way of us actually just seeing what's there. So let's move into it a touch. The transcendental personality, or the samadhi body. It's fun to say. I hope it's helpful to hear. The samadhi body enjoys enters into the enjoyment of the samadhis that comes with the third, fourth, and fifth stages as the mentations of the mind system become quieted and the waves of consciousness are no more stirred on the face of universal mind. We can make that very simple. The way the sutra expresses things, there's this universal mind, which is you, which waves become riled upon by the light show and the churn, okay? And samadhi is a state of concentration. And samadhi itself is, how do I describe it? When you are concentrating on your breath and you stay focused on your breath and you count the breath, this is samadhi. There's an object, there's a perception, and there's an organ of perception. So if I shine the light of my awareness onto my breath and hold it there, as is taught in beginning instruction here, you put your mind in the one point, put the mind in the hara, and you pay attention to your breath. This is a samadhi, okay? And that can go very, very deep. And the mind can get into a very, very deep state. But a samapati is different. A samapati is a non-dual samadhi state, wherein there is no object of perception and perceiver. They merge. They merge in your experience. It feels as though I'm not watching this thing, but rather the thing and I are not separate. There's no I there. Technical term in Buddhist language, samadhi, samapati. Dualistic concentration, non-dual concentration. So it's simply saying that just like there's an anger body and an addiction body or whatever, there's like a deeply concentrated body, dual and non-dual. Get yourself some of that. That's what the sutra is saying. This body, that body, if the body term is challenging, aspect of the self or state of mind, I don't care, use whatever words are helpful. You don't need to cling to the words, but you want to get the flavor of what the meal is about here. That aspect of the self needs attention. This is important. It's not about changing my anger into concentration. Just drop that. That's not the agenda. That's not the project. It doesn't work that way. Simply be concentrated. Go direct to it. Don't worry about transforming this thing into that thing. Just, that's not your job. Leave it alone. Don't play with it. Do not play with the toys. Stay on task. That's it. Does it make sense? And the more experience you get in the samadhi state, the more natural it becomes. The deeper it goes, the more your baseline of concentration begins to raise. And this is the case for both dualistic and non-dualistic. Now, the third, fourth, and fifth stages, there are stages of training, and that's accurate. In my experience in our system of practice, it's somewhere around really the third, fourth, and fifth stages where this stuff starts to actually sink in that way. And it can be done, and it is done. In this state, the sutra says, the conscious mind is still aware to some degree of the bliss being experienced by the cessation of the mind's activities. There's still some sense of perception there. So it's not like you go off into a blackout or some bliss-laden trance or something. You're conscious, okay? And this is very important. If you're sitting in meditation trying to somehow shut your own mind off, that also is not the goal. The sutra is saying very clear, the conscious mind is still aware in some measure of the bliss experienced by the cessation of the constant churn of this and that, yin and yang, yes and no, up and down, win and loss. Thus, the samadhi body. Now, the second kind of transcendental personality, again, is that different? It's the same thing. It's the sutra trying to find some language that can be helpful here. This body is assumed by the bodhisattvas and the tathagatas as bodies of transformation in which they, tune in here, in which they demonstrate their original vow. It's the demonstration of original vow body. This work of achieving and perfecting comes in the 8th stage of bodhisattvahood. When the bodhisattva has a through-growing insight into the maya-like, the illusion-like nature of all things, and understands the dharma of imagelessness, they experience the turning about in the deepest consciousness and will become able to experience the higher samadhis even to the deepest and highest. Entering these exalted states of concentration, the practitioner attains a body, attains a personality, brings online a quality of themselves heretofore laying dormant. Might be a modern way of saying it, right? That transcends the conscious mind. It's not just something you think through, and that's it. Some things can't just be thought through. By reason of this, they obtain powers of mastery and activities by which his mind can do miraculous things. Now, this demonstration of original vow, this needs a little bit of unpacking, because the vow is to save all sentient beings throughout space and time. Yeah, it's pretty lofty, right? It's the bodhisattva's vow. It's the Buddha's vow. So it's kind of like the Buddha vow body. And what is that? What is the body of the vow? That is upaya, right? Manomaya kaya, it's the will body, it's the decision, it's the vow body. It's that aspect of ourselves which, because it's no longer encrusted around the mental cramp of a self-ego, is being permanent, fixed, and in need of contestation. admonishment or encouragement or upholding, none of it. All that power is freed. Instead of fighting on behalf of some fiction, you can actually apply that power to reality, which quite frankly needs it. So this vow body, this is the body that can show up as needed. This concept of upaya in the practice means the ability of an awakened person to show up in a way that is recognizable to a being that is trapped in suffering, and to be able to express their vow in a way that can be received, possibly, by the different sentient suffering beings. And different sentient beings that are suffering, they have different levels of perception. And so the Buddha, the Bodhisattva that wishes to show up and be helpful has to be able to appear differently in order to be recognized. Imagine, if you would, a fanciful version of this where, say there's a, say there's a demon, let's say, big scary Balrog kind of guy, right? Rah, whips and fires, that rah. Now if an angel of light comes down, oh, just be nice. Rah. It's not going to help the Balrog. It's not seeable. The light of the angel will irritate and hurt the demon. But if the Bodhisattva were to say, oh, okay, I can put on a Balrog suit and show up as a Balrog. Hey, bro, what's up? What's up? What you doing? Just Balrogging around? Me too, yeah. Now that they can see each other, and that Buddha in a Balrog suit can actually connect, then the Balrog now there's some possibility of meaningful communication. And all the Buddha Balrog has to do is just be a little nice. If the Buddha Balrog is like too nice, it'll blow their cover. So they just have to be just a little bit nicer. And then the Balrog says, well, that's not that bad. Thanks, dude. And it can gradually, does it make sense? So for example, if you're trying to help somebody who's enmeshed in a thing, and you come in and you're all like holier than thou, and you're like, you know better, you're gonna tell them how they're supposed to be. Does that ever work? Does that ever work? No, all that does is make more antagonism. I'll show you. You know what I mean? It goes the opposite way. But if you can like, I don't know, grab a beer and sit on the next to him, hey man, cheers, bunk. How many you had anyway? Oh, I feel shitty when I have that much. I don't do it anymore. I used to, but yeah. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Does it make sense? You can be seen. This is the transformation body. This is the Manomayakaya body. This is the will body. This is the, in that moment, that's the expression of that bodhisattva vow, now arising as a Balrog, now arising as a dude at the bar, now arising as I don't know what. What if there's a God who's trapped in their pleasure realm? They're just enjoying their blissful ease and repose, not even noticing the sufferings of the world. Will the Balrog Buddha be able to help them? No. No way. No way. That Buddha there has to show up as something like a deity with an awesome deity-level guitar. You're going to play awesome, hey, check out my music, God, dude, my divine sound. Yeah, I like divine stuff, cool. And then he starts to play a blues. And he sings a little bit of a sad melody. It's a melody, so the God can hear it. But it's a sad melody. What is the sadness? Oh yeah, wait. And suddenly this being, just stealed away by these pleasures of the heaven realm suddenly starts to feel grief a little bit again, and has some notices being suffering, and suddenly just hanging out in the bliss is no longer sufficient. Each of these imaginative illustrations bring forth a very real way of being in the world. Now, what's necessary for this way of being in the world is the mind must be able to move very fast. Very fast. And if your mind is attached and mired in an egoic sense of self, it cannot move fast. It's stuck. But if you can, to some degree, unlock this, well, something that you might think of as magic occurs. Listen. They attain a personality that transcends the conscious mind by reason of which they obtain supernatural powers and self-mastery and activities because of which their mind, the sutra says they, but I'm going to say their mind, is able to move as they wish, as quickly as a dream changes, as quickly as images change in a mirror, this spontaneous instant arising. This transcendental body is not the product of the elements earth, air, fire, and water, and yet there is something in it that is analogous to what is produced by the elements. There is a there. There is a substance to it. Right? It is furnished with all the differences pertaining to the world of form, but without their limitations. Thus, possessed of this mind vision body, they are able to be present in all the Buddha lands. Just as their thoughts move instantly and without hindrance over walls and rivers and trees and mountains, and just as in memory they recall and visit the scenes of past experience, so, while the mind keeps functioning in the body, the thoughts may be wherever they wish to be. Play along with me for a moment. Please close your eyes. I'm going to make a quick escape. No, go ahead, close your eyes. And just if you would imagine yourself just being in the sky. Just go ahead. Just imagine yourself flying around in the sky. Now please imagine yourself at the bottom of the ocean. Please imagine yourself in a forest at night under a full moon. Please imagine yourself to be on the moon looking down at the earth. Visit your old grade school classroom. Visit your childhood bedroom. Enter now the Hogwarts dining hall. Roam the streets of Gondor. And now open your eyes and return to the Buddhist temple of Toledo. Miraculous. Miraculous. How fast was your mind able to go from the sky to the bottom of the sea? Both real and imagined. I love strolling the streets of Gondor. You should check the library out. It's quite interesting. But this upaya body moves like that. What do I need to be? How shall I manifest? What's appropriate in this moment? It's instant. As soon as the image rises, the mirror reflects it. There's no gap. With the speed with which your mind moved in and out of those various imaginings, however imperfect, some people feel more than visualize, it doesn't matter. That's what's being pointed to. That's the miracle. Offering the best we have to give, both real and imagined, to help all sentient beings throughout space and time. You might say, well, what practical value does this have to offer? Consider that this building you're sitting in was an imaginal creation at one point. Some people sat down at a cafe with some napkins and said, gosh, I wonder, and began to sketch some things. Wow, what if there was a deck? What if, could it, wow. You understand? And now here we sit. It's not just the Buddha body that does this. So does your anger body. Okay? the body that causes suffering, it too can create imaginal realms and make them real. Let's not, shall we? In the same fashion, this body that experiences the samadhi, Vajravim Pabama, the Vajra is a lightning bolt, thunderbolt. And it's like, you know, when Thor has the hammer and he collects the lightning and then he can, it's like that. Actually, there are some people that think that there's a relationship between Hercules and the thunderbolt and the Vajra, who knows. Anyway, it's used to disrupt and blow away the causes of suffering and delusion. Endowed with supernatural powers and psychic faculties and self-mastery by reason of which they're able. What do you do with psychic faculties and magic powers? You follow the Noble Eightfold Path, of course. Right livelihood, right speech, right concentration, don't be a jerk, that kind of stuff. If you want to fly, go ahead and imagine it. You did great. Now, how's your day going? They can move about as freely as they wish, but their wishes are no longer self-centered, nor are they tainted by discrimination and attachment. For this transcendental personality is not the old body, but is transcendental embodiment of his, again, the embodiment of the original vows of self-yielding in order to bring all beings to maturity. It's the ultimate gift. And finally, briefly, the third kind of the transcendental personality is so ineffable that it is able to attain intuitions of the Dharmakaya, the reality body. That is, it attains the intuitions of the boundless, inscrutable cognition of universal mind. It attains intuitions of the cosmic mind, reality mind, God mind, if you like that term. As bodhisattva mahasattvas, as great heroes of the Dharma, attain these highest stages and become conversant with the treasures to be realized in wisdom, they attain this inconceivable to the intellect, this inconceivable transformation body, which is the true nature of all Buddhas, past, present, and future. And they participate in the blissful peace which pervades the Dharma of all things. This ability to connect to the cosmic, so to speak, or the deepest intuitive self, this is what we call the Dharma eye. This is what koan training does. It helps you to encounter and express and develop and get strong with the gut, the hara, the heart, the head, and then the upaya, the skillful, creative ways of manifesting. This sutra expresses such deep wisdom that I think you could spend your lifetime investigating it and not plumb the full depths. And yet, don't make it too precious. You are the sutra. You are the teachings. It's a matter simply of paying attention to your own experience, letting the guidance of the sutra and the practice wash through you, and trust yourself. For the sake of all beings throughout space and time, may it be so.
Thank you everybody for coming today, and welcome to everyone visiting. Are there any announcements? Okay.
You're attached to the hip, literally. As you all probably know, next Sunday is Shuso.
I don't know.
The 10th, November 10th is Shuso, where Kinsei, our Shuso, the Sangha, will do Dharma combat, express her Dharma eye. You all have the invitation to do the same, to encounter her in Dharma combat. It is a rare ceremony where it's unscripted, totally in the moment, whatever is arising. So please take the opportunity to be there.
And before that, on Wednesday, if you'd like to help set up for the session or preceding the Shuso and Dharma combat, we'll be setting up for session from 2 to 6 on Wednesday. Thank you. Anything else? Please restore the Zen.